first class what they do. We got some sweet and dirty this year. We just got to find out. We got to figure out how to win.
Not here.
Uh, yeah, yeah, because I mean we're part of the I guess we're a night school.
BSN.
But see, like last night, since you know a little bit about volleyball, we're down first set. We're down 17-6 in the first set, scared to death, and we just played bugles where we were scared to death first set, got crunched, then all of a sudden we settled down, and then the last set he never took his starters out on me, and it was 25-22. We were playing, so we were playing some ball. Then last night we ended up 29-27. We lose the first set. If we could have won that, it would have probably turned it.
Right.
But in the second set, we beat them 25-9. Everything we're setting, we're pounding the ball, and then boom, we just go back to getting down 8 to 9 points, and you can't.
Right.
And it's us just hitting the ball to the wall.
Well, that's the message. Hey, y'all, we've shown we can play. Now we got to put it together for a full game.
Right.
You know, I like coaching a young team too. Though. I enjoy that, but it does you do start getting your head against the wall a little bit sometimes.
Well, especially when the team hitting like you all was ripping balls at us.
Make sure I was getting that.
Hello? There? I don't hear you, dude.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, stand by. I got a feedback here. Hold on. Can you hear that on your end?
Yeah, I heard my voice first. I hear my voice back. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like a here. Hold on.
Like a, kind of a high pitched
Hit, yeah.
squeal. Yeah.
Yeah, hold on just a second. I know what it's
There you-
for.
Your mic.
Maybe because there's nothing playing. Hold on just a second here. So, Larry, I don't know what we should do. So, show we can if we need to. Do you have the ability to play music? Yeah, it's starting to rain. Hold on, Larry. I'm going to have to pull everything in. Stand by. Shoot, this was a mess last night. Okay. You want to pull this down? Okay. Almost done, Larry. Hold on. We're going to pull this gate down to protect our stuff. Watch that. Watch that. You could just turn the camera probably.
You're on.
All right, thank you very much. Living Large Larry producing tonight's broadcast. We are at Citizens Field. It's the season opener for the Gainesville Hurricanes. But much like last night, Mother Nature is having her way here early. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our coverage of the Stevenson Septic Tank Services High School Football Game of the Week. Also, thanks to Select Motors, Motor Cars, Quality Plumbing, B&D Electric, Electronics World, Adams Ribs, Auto ER, Sonic Drive-In, Santa Fe College. Yes, we are ready for high school football. Mike Rideout with a special guest announcer. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to have him this year. I'm going to utilize him as much as possible, but he does have other things going on. He is currently the head volleyball coach at Newberry High School. He's a former Gainesville Hurricane, also a former Florida Gator, but Hank Roan joins me on the broadcast. Hank, we talked about this, you coming on and being a color commentator. We've had you as a guest, but now you and I will actually get a chance to work a game together.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. Just really excited about, my first time calling a game, and, look forward and being the alma mater and, playing here on this field back in the 80s. A lot of good memories sitting here, and then also having a brother now that is coaching at GHS, and the family tradition. My dad coached at GHS in the 60s and 70s, and and then just happened to have some daughters and got into the great game of volleyball.
This is the Santa Fe College pregame show. Santa Fe College will hold a college fair this Monday, August the 29th. Meet with representatives from more than 50 colleges across the country. Register today at sfcollege.edu/college fair. This game was supposed to kick off at 7. Currently, we see rain falling. We've heard thunder, and, of course, there's been lightning. We are in a weather delay right now. Tentatively scheduled for about a 7:35 p.m. kick. Now, let's hope that we don't get any more lightning. They can obviously play in the rain, but I want to bring on Philip Crutchfield, former athletics director at Eastside High School, that's been helping out with the broadcast at the Prep Zone. He was here last night for Columbia and Buchholz. Philip, after the rain came down last night, we were so close. In fact, as Coach Whittemore of Buchholz says, a gnat's whisker away from playing on Saturday morning.
It was really pouring last night, and I'm just impressed with Clint Bryan and the field staff here at Citizens Field. I had a chance to speak with him earlier, and just the shape that they were able to get the field in such a quick turnaround, because the swamp is down the road, but the swamp was here last night, and that was a fact because of the rain. So he told me earlier today he rented a 1-ton independent roller from B&M Equipment and rolled the field both ways about 10 times. So he was out here, I'm sure, getting a good sunburn, trying to get the field ready for us. But all things considered, I think the field looks as good as it possibly can.
Yeah, I agree, but he's got to be grimacing right now knowing that rain is falling.
And especially, it's sprinkling. I think we're getting the best end of the deal in the area based on what I have seen on other media outlets. But I know he's upset because it's the first week of the season. The grass is already taking a hit.
And we may have just had another lightning strike. Yep. And if we do have a lightning strike, it's a 30-minute wait. So this could be a rather lengthy pregame show. Before we really kind of get into our Santa Fe College pregame show and talk about tonight, it sounds like with the thunder now in the background that we will have some additional time. I wanted to talk about last night's game. First, before we talk about what happened at the 4-minute mark remaining in the game, last night Buchholz, they were clearly the better team against Columbia.
It was, and I actually think that the score would have been even more lopsided had the field not been what it was, because you really didn't see them. They had a couple long plays to their perimeter players, but they have a very strong set of receivers that didn't get utilized as much as I think they would have on a fast track. And so I think the field conditions kept the score closer than what it would have been. Buchholz was clearly the better team. And I was mostly impressed with them on defense. They kept a Division I quarterback and Tyler Jefferson in the box. Those two defensive ends from Buchholz crashed down all night. I wasn't keeping the stats. They had numerous sacks. The defense, they did their part last night, and the offense, I think they did what they needed to do with the conditions.
Well, as I mentioned, about 4 minutes to play in the game, it was a scene that I have never been a part of, and I've been broadcasting for 30 years. At first, when it happened, I was here covering the game for Main Street Daily News. I saw after a long touchdown run got called back because of a penalty, the entire Columbia defense just jumped down and laid down on the ground, on their belly. And at first I'm like, is this a trick play? But they're on defense, and then it wasn't but a second or two later when people started running and scattering, and I'm like, okay, there's something going on.
Right, and I think we were all keyed in on the broadcast, so we had headsets on, so we were listening to our own audio. The first thing I noticed was I saw the players on the ground, then I saw the Gainesville police officers, as well as the Columbia brought 2 officers with them on the road, came onto the field. They were motioning to the coaches. The players, get down, follow the protocol, and then quickly exit the field. It was a new to me experience for sure. I think in retrospect, it occurred in the parking lot. GPD had a handle on it very quickly, and from all reports, they say it was a taser. So fortunate in that regard that it wasn't something more serious. But in today's climate, you got to take it serious, and I appreciate the law enforcement folks that were here that handled that.
And Hank, we were talking earlier about, it's almost kind of become a norm, these types of things occurring. And you mentioned, with Columbia doing ID checks and so forth. I mean, they're locking down, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I read something off of Facebook somebody sent me. In fact, like I was talking about Swanee and Branford, so Swanee County, they lost some volleyball games. They won't let them go over and play at Columbia this year with just the things that are happening over there. So I don't know what's going on with – and it sounded like middle school kids. So hopefully they get it under wraps. And when I heard Jordan Krager, is that his last name? Yeah, he put something out on Twitter, and it popped up, and I was like, well, it makes sense of why they might have all laid down like that, just because they've been hearing about it for, a couple of weeks. No different than the bomb scares we had last season. Jordan Kroger. Yeah, last season just, kind of ran rampant through our football and volleyball season. In fact, those bomb threats last year moved our homecoming game to the end of the year, and we upset Union County in volleyball and ended up having to go play Taylor Pearson after homecoming night, and it shouldn't have been that way.
Yeah, and Philip can talk more about that. Not only was the AD at Eastside, but he also was the dean over there. Right.
It just it's a sad state of affairs for our youth today, and I think there's the kids want to have a quality experience, and it's a shame that you have a very small number of individuals that have such a broad impact. But from a safety standpoint, you really are left with no options as a school administrator, security team, law enforcement. So they have a job to do, and when things like that happen, they have no choice but to clear it. And so that's the protocol. And I hope for our kids' sake in the community and other communities surrounding us, Ocala, Lake City, in that areas as well. I hope we can get back to just a more civil time where the kids can have that quality experience that maybe we had growing up.
Yeah, and that's the truth right there is, I think what they did last night to get it under control pretty quickly and all that. But nowadays, it's just like you said, it's just kind of where we're at. And athletics is such an important role, and the band and everything else you can do extracurricular with these kids, just to, get them out doing things, being part of teams, being part of something that builds life skills for these kids.
And I think also just two coaches here, me being a former coach, and him being a current coach, I think we can speak to, just for all the parents listening, get your kids involved. The kids who are involved, good things are going to happen to them for, 99% of the time. And the kids who are not involved, it seems like, are the kids that are having those struggles with mental health and other things and leading them to make those decisions to do things they shouldn't do. And so I would just encourage, use sports as that avenue. As a sports broadcast, I'm a big proponent of get the kids involved in something positive.
Once again, we are in a weather delay here at Citizens Field. Gainesville at home against the Vanguard Knights from Ocala. We haven't got an updated as far as where we're at. We thought we were looking at a 7:35 kick, but we have seen lightning and heard thunder. So we know it's in the area. We just don't know if it's given us another 30-minute delay. So before we take our first time out here on the Santa Fe College pregame show, since my broadcast partner Hank Roan is the head coach of the Newberry volleyball team, I wanted to ask you about the Panthers this year. Some teams reload, some teams rebuild, others are kind of in the middle. Where would you kind of assess and put your team at right now?
Well, I mean, we know we're young this year. We have a lot of girls that haven't played any varsity experience at all.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know, so we're battling through some of that. We've seen some greatness. First 2 games we played Buchholz, and third set of Buchholz Tuesday night. We went toe-to-toe with them and lost 25-22 as a 1A program. Then we had to step up and go play a big rival in Bell. Drew just always does a great job with Bell, and he got the better of us last night. But set 2, we just ripped the ball. We were setting well, we were passing well, and we took 25-9. Beat them 25-9 in a set. So there is some greatness that's going to happen. It's just like I told you in our interview with preseason was that I just have to be patient. I can't rip them too hard. We just got to keep working hard, and love the attitudes of the girls. And I think we're going to be that team that's going to surprise somebody towards the end of the year. We might have to take a few lumps, but there's a lot of great little volleyball around here in 1A. And what's so special about 1A volleyball is, you have Santa Fe that's just an unbelievable program. Eric Marshall's done a tremendous job. Kids are going to that school. Once you start winning, kids want to go to that school. Mm-hmm. No different than in football and things like that. It's no different. But then when you get into 1A, you have all these great athletes that play softball, that play lacrosse, that play, basketball, and they get that opportunity to come out. And they all, it's funny because they all love volleyball. Kind of like when I was a kid playing football here at GHS, I loved playing basketball. But I was never going to step foot on the basketball court at GHS except for intramurals. So, but you always have that favorite sport. But, I'm excited about this season. We got to coach them up. We got to, get them in the right spot, and they just need the reps, and they just have to, we just have to play games, and we got 2 tomorrow. So we get 2 more tomorrow morning.
I want to come back to Newberry volleyball here in just a moment, but this quick update. In addition to our radio game of the week, we're also doing a live audio broadcast at MainStreetDailyNews.com. Our audio broadcast tonight is Oak Hall School at home against St. Joseph Academy out of St. Augustine. Cam Parker, who has been my broadcast partner the last couple of years, doing color, but, he got a chance to get promoted and do play-by-play, and as much as I hated to lose him, I felt like he deserved that opportunity. So he's going to be on the call of the game along with Griffin Fold tonight. That game was supposed to start at 7 o'clock, but due to weather over there, they've pushed it back, possibly a 7:30 kick. So if you're trying to access the game at MainStreetDailyNews.com, just want to let you know they may not be on the air just yet as they are in a weather delay as well. The interview you were talking about, once again, Hank Rowan is going to be my guest color commentator tonight, and hopefully I'll keep him around some this season. But the interview you were talking about was a story that I wrote at Main Street Daily News, and it was more so about, trying to maintain that success, but I wanted to look back at the success that you did have, because over about a 5-year span, a couple state championship game appearances, 4 or 5 straight district titles. I mean, you guys had it rolling over there.
Yeah, we, Sherrod Mosley came in and just kind of changed the culture, and he brought me in his second year, and we had a great run of athletes. We had a lot of them playing, club volleyball year round, and and we just kind of took 1A by storm, and we got moved up to 5A for a couple years. And,
yeah, right.
And that probably some of the funnest games that we ever played was beating up on Jacksonville Bowles because Bowles was getting to play the winner of like Interlochen and Bradford and some of those schools. And so all of a sudden here's little Newberry, and they come into our house, and, we smoke them in 3 the first time we play them, and they had no clue. And the coach next year says, hey, come play in our tournament. So that was kind of fun in 5A. And then, then I got the opportunity to take it over 3 years ago, and just had a great bunch in 2020. That's just an unbelievable class. 2 of them are playing at Santa Fe College right now. One's rowing at Rollins College with Grace Ulrich, and then Nicole and Paige are playing, and then we got one playing at Warner University. So you got a lot of girls that are playing college right now, so that tells you the type of talent we have, and that's where you can kind of look, even in football, when you go roll up and you're playing a team that has 7 or 8 D1 guys, you're going to be in for a hard night that night.
And I thought the interesting thing about Grace Ulrich was the fact that, yes, she has moved on to Rollins College, but she didn't go there to play volleyball. They recruited her for a sport that she had never really participated in.
Yeah, it was amazing. She calls me coming back, and she said, Coach, you'll never believe it. They want me to try out for the rowing team, and they actually have scholarship money, and I'm going to go do a film for them. And they went to the gym and did a rowing film, and he signed her, And you know, and then told her, don't do anything, don't go take rowing lessons, don't do anything, just run. And then she was the freshman of the year down there.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know
and so, yeah, she had some of the best times. I'm trying to learn the sport. I don't really know it yet, and I need to get down there next year and see her row. In fact, she just texted me the other night, and she's doing great. So
they're under a lightning delay at PK Young. Kickoff was scheduled at 7 o'clock, so they are behind there as well. And that was supposed to be our audio game of the week at Main Street Daily News. I started looking at the weather early in the week, and I emailed PK and said, unfortunately, guys, we're not going to be able to make it because they don't have a press box at PK Young. So
oh, my goodness.
I didn't want to take a chance with our gear, number one, but then our crew, we don't need them to be sitting out in the elements. So Oak Hall is the reason that is the game that we're broadcasting tonight, but they're delayed as well. So it's just that time of year, unfortunately, right, Philip?
It is, and I've actually seen several things. Local coaches and statewide coaches, organizations, they're kind of pushing the FHSA to maybe look at a September start for football, being that it seems like this happens every year with the first couple weeks, and also the element for practice too, because they take their key from the trainer for the wet bulb with the humidity. When the humidity's up, they either have to go shells or shorts or go inside. So there's been some statewide chatter about that season start date, because it does seem to be an issue every year, whether it be heat-related or storm-related on game day.
All right, just assuming we could be as late, and we don't know, as late as an 8 p.m. kick.
Just got a message, PK Young East Side's delayed until at least 8.
Okay. So we're just at the mercy of Mother Nature right now. But we do want to get into some football talk. Like I said, it might be somewhat of a lengthy pregame show, but let's take our first time out for the Stevenson Septic Tank Services High School Game of the Week. You're listening to it right here on 106.9 IM Country and online at imcountryradio.com.
Stevenson Septic. And 4. Complete installation.
From Adams Rib. Don't have time to cook? Don't panic. Think Adams Rib Co. to go. Zip in, zip out. Problem solved. Adams Rib Co. to go. Hunters Walk in Gainesville. Just give us a call. Adams Rib Co.
Hey, here's
the
your
ribs back in barbecue.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Grieser at the UF Eye Specialties Clinic, welcoming you to our new facility at the Oaks Mall. We're available for routine eye exams, contact lens fittings, LASIK, and advanced surgical and medical care. Contact us for all of your eye care needs. Call 352-265-2020 for an appointment. And go Canes!
Hey, it's Adam from Adams Rib Company. Fall is finally here. It's time for some great barbecue and friends and family. Why not treat them to Adams Rib Company with 2 locations in Gainesville? Come join us at our 13th Street location or try us at the Adams Rib Co. to go in Hunters Walk. Adams Rib Co. putting the ribs back in barbecue.
The Hurricanes would like to thank the following partners for their support of GHS football: Gumby's Pizza, Buffalo Wild Wings, Adams Rib Company, Paisanos, BJ's Brewhouse, and David's Barbecue. The Hurricane Watch Network will be covering all GHS home football games this season. For sponsorship opportunities, please call Chris Badix at 352-256-1986. That's 352-256-1986. Go Canes!
Hey, this is Adam from Adams Rib Company. Thank goodness it's fall. About that time for some family, friends, and football. For over 18 years, my wife Michelle and I have been proud to bring you the best barbecue to all your gatherings over Gainesville and the surrounding areas. Come join us at our 13th Street location or try us at the Adams Rib Co. to go in Hunters Walk. In a hurry to grab dinner? Adams Rib Co. to go's got you covered. Zip in, zip out without skipping a beat. Don't forget our catering. No party is too big or too small. Just give us a call. Adams Rib Company, putting the ribs back in barbecue.
All right, welcome back to Citizens Field. Mike Rideout along with Hank Roan, also Philip Crutchfield. We are in a weather delay tonight. Gainesville at home against the Vanguard Knights of Ocala. Again, we're at the mercy of Mother Nature here. Every time we see a lightning strike, we got a 30-minute delay. They haven't let anyone in yet from outside, so there are no spectators here. So that being said,
they also haven't updated the scoreboard, Mike. So, usually they try to at least inform the fans on the scoreboard.
Yes. They got 2:40 on the scoreboard.
Obviously,
and we just saw another lightning strike. So
yes, obviously that's incorrect if they're not letting people in and the teams aren't warming up. So I assume they're going to be hitting reset on that.
Yeah. Let's talk some football. We mentioned Buchholz was a winner last night. They clearly are the best team in the area. Guys, either one of you can comment on this, but, Hawthorne has been to back-to-back state championship games. They lost by 1 point in the 1A state championship game last year to Madison County, and they are loaded on offense and defense. Cornelius Ingram, former Gator, the head coach. Can the third time be a charm for them, Hank?
Yeah, I mean, you think it'd have to be. I don't know what all has lost up in the, in the Panhandle, but the nice thing about it is that they do that conference play now with some of the local schools in the rural area, and CI can go check them out this year with some of those games going on. But yeah, they're definitely loaded. You have a 1A program with D1 kids all over the place, and we know how talented his son is just from basketball and all that what he brings to the table, and smart, and they're definitely the team to beat in 1A around here. There's no doubt about it.
Mike, I would think the only thing when I hear son is quarterback that would concern me is it is your third starting quarterback in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So is there is the change of system? They're going to be moving from that power running of Tyler Jefferson where it's quarterback keep to maybe a little more pass heavy. With the son who's maybe not built to take the hits like Jefferson, but maybe more elusive. So it's going to be a little different style change, I feel like, on offense. Maybe more what you saw with Chaz Mackey the year prior. So with a little more wide open look. So be interested to see. And but they, by all reports, they are loaded. I'm looking forward to see them. I'm really looking forward to that Hawthorne Union County game. That's the game on their schedule. That I'm going to make an effort to see.
And I think they're going to be in pretty good shape in the backfield. They've got Brian James. He ran for over 1,000 yards last year. They've got a couple of guys that have transferred into. I think they're going to be – that'll help take the pressure off of CJ. But, again, that defense is so good. They gave up just under 10 points per game last year, and Jalen Ruth is back. Stanley Cooks is back. They got guys that are going to be playing Division I football on that side of the ball. So,
and that's the difference with what Hawthorne's got right now in the 1A class. It's not necessarily the skill guys. It's up front with Stanley Cooks. It's the O line and the D line. And I know just from seeing last year, we hosted at Eastside. It's common practice for teams when they're on the road far away. They'll call another school, ask if they can do a walkthrough. So we hosted both Chipley and Pahokee at Eastside for their walkthrough last year.
Okay.
And the skill guys, you can tell they got players too. But it's that line play that's different for Hawthorne right now. And I think that's when they ran into Madison County, they're also good up front.
Right.
So can they take that next step?
Yeah.
That's just kind of my visual eye test of them versus those two
I think
teams.
we can all agree, though, Buchholz and Hawthorne had the best chance of winning a state title in our area when you look at all the teams. But Chiefland was really good last year. They beat Union County, which was undefeated, going into that region final. So there are some other – well, we can't call them 1A anymore, 1R.
Right, that's right.
I hate these new classifications, by the way, the suburban and the metro. And
it's a net positive,
rural.
in my opinion, though. I'm excited about the opportunity for some of the other schools to get away from some of these powerhouse private schools.
Yeah. So instead of Buchholz playing St. Thomas Aquinas, which is nationally ranked, they might get a Venice, for example, or a Lakeland school. So you still got a tough road to get there.
Right, because you're right. The rural classification, when I started coaching high school football in 1990 at Trenton High with Tommy Malloy, we always had North Florida Christian and FAMU. We could play with them for about 3 quarters.
Yeah.
But they just wore us down, and they'd had D1 kids on their sideline. It just wasn't fair. We go 8-2, and we couldn't get in the playoffs. So I think you're right. The way they're doing it now, the way they're getting some of the St. Thomases out of that, and they're on the right direction, and hopefully it'll filter to the rest of the sports too.
And I think right now FHSA takes, and we talked about this on the Football Power Hour on the Prep Zone with Marty Paulman, FHSA takes their cues from the state legislature. There's no appetite in Tallahassee right now for a public and a private separated league or classes. So the FHSA is really trying to split the baby to appease their membership, because they're hearing it from the public schools too, because they track those statistics for what teams are in the state title games, who's winning them, and they know it's been biased towards the private schools. They talk about that regularly. So I think that they are trying to split the baby, because Tallahassee's not going to allow them to do a true split like maybe other states like Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama have.
Right.
There are 3 new football coaches in Alachua County schools this year. Over in Alachua, Joe Szymanski, who played on that 1994 state championship team, so he's going back to his alma mater. James Langham, who we just had on the Prep Zone Sports Show. By the way, you can listen to our show. You mentioned Marty Palm, and he's my co-host for that show every Wednesday night, 7, 8 p.m. We got to try and get Newberry Volleyball on the show, Coach, so think about an upcoming Wednesday. We can have you guys out again.
All right.
I would love to do that again. But 7 to 8 p.m., 106.9 AM Country every Wednesday night. Langham, the new head coach at St. Francis Catholic. If you missed it, you can go to theprepzone.com and you can listen to that interview. You can watch it also. It was video streamed as well. But the other coach that is new in Alachua County this year, also going back to his alum, or he's an alum. I'll let you speak because you were the one that hired him. Philip Crutchfield, the former athletic director at Eastside High School. Harold Gator Hoskins returning to Eastside.
So I know the community, the people that surround Eastside's program are very excited for Coach Hoskins. And I had dozens and dozens of emails, as well as the principal, in support of him. And he came in and really had a passionate interview and had a plan for bringing that program back. And the people of Eastside have been hurting in the football department, and we talked again in the Football Power Hour show about there are things involving with teams structurally that make it harder to win at other schools. They're in classes, enrollment counts. There's a lot of things going on with that dynamic at Eastside, but I think the nuts and bolts of it is you got to have a coach at Eastside that can connect with the community and get the kids to stay home. If the kids stay home at Eastside, they're going to be in the mix, and they're going to compete on Fridays, and that's the bottom line. So Coach Hoskins, he brought in some high-caliber assistants. I would say, based on the staffs I know in the area, they probably have the highest number of former college players on staff, and then a good mix of older guys, younger guys on that staff. So they're connecting well. They've got experience. Willie Jackson, senior or junior, I guess he is the offensive coordinator. He's had several sons come through here. Sir came through Eastside. So they're they got experienced coordinators that are passionate about the east side of town and Eastside High School. So I think they're going to connect with the community, get their players to stay home, and then put a good product on the field and limit the mistakes on Friday night and not beat themselves. So that's kind of the formula, and I know that's what he's talked about.
And an opportunity to get off to a good start, get a little momentum going, because they play PK Young tonight. Then they've got Keystone Heights on Thursday night next week.
Right, and so we caught a little grief about moving Buchholz off of week 1, but we had to do what's best for Eastside. Buchholz is up right now. It's kind of apples and oranges because they've got 2,400 students. Eastside has 1,100. That's the facts. And so what we wanted to do is try to give the people in the Gainesville community another good game to watch. PK is a city rival. Eastside PK is one of the biggest basketball games of the year. The people want to see that game. It's also a good revenue source for both schools, for the football budget too, for that gate. So I think this year I picked Eastside in the Prep Zone pick'ems. So I picked Eastside to beat PK. I think they'll do that tonight and have a chance to go 1-0 for the first time in a while, and then another geographically close opponent with Keystone, and also we added Bradford back to the schedule. So we're trying to, reconnect Eastside with their traditional rivals geographically, and I shouldn't speak currently, but that's kind of the thought process, and give the people at Eastside something good to watch, and the kids something to be proud of.
He's Philip Crutchfield. I'm Mike Rideout. Hank Rowan will be working the game with me. Hank, you were telling some pretty good stories. I know you were a graduate of Gainesville High School. You were also a punter for the Gators. Give us, we got some time here. Give us a couple of good stories.
Well, when I got to GHS as a freshman in 1981, now I'll tell you how old I am. My head coach is the name on this stadium, Jim Knoblack. So Jim Knoblack comes in 1980, wins the state championship, the only one we have at Gainesville High School. And the next year he's coaching JV football. Wow. And we went, the only team we lost to was Buchholz. And that's kind of when Buchholz started making their run with Eddie Feely. And, that bunch started coming in, and he was flinging the ball all over the place with his sons, and Vernon Maxwell was playing football back then, believe it or not. So there's a lot of great athletes. So Jim comes in, Coach Knoblack comes in, coaches us. We have the best record ever for JV ninth grade. And then the next year he's at the Buffalo Bills. So it was, pretty awesome. And he actually coached with my dad when my dad was there from 67 to 72 at GHS. And, those are the stories of it would be like brutality now, but they used to have the pits, and all that. And I was talking to Brett Waters the other day, who played on the state runner-up team at Santa Fe High School, and he was probably in the early 70s, and he was telling me and my son about the pits of Santa Fe, and I was like, yeah, GHS had those pits, and every now and then those coaches would get in there and wrestle around and all that kind of stuff. So there's been some great stories. Vanguard was a huge rival for us. I think one time I had to play against the strongest. I wish I could remember names, but the strongest guy in the state of Florida. He benched back then like 440 until Kurt Robinson, running back at UF, came in and beat him. But he had like a 770 total, and he was just you couldn't move him off the ball. But at GHS I was a sophomore offensive guard, and then my junior and senior year I played defensive line, offensive guard, and played a little center, and then I didn't punt till my senior year because Mark McGriff was here punting, and me and Mark I was telling this story.
Mark came up in the press box last night and said hello to us.
Okay.
Well, when we had our little scare, I guess.
Oh, yeah. His son's at Buchholz now. And, but me and Mark, we'd warm up punting, because we'd always warm up. We'd try to hit the other team or the band, or we just made it a fun deal, because you got two guys that are tight end, offensive linemen that are just booting the ball everywhere. We wasn't trying to punt it to our returners. We were trying to hit people with the ball, so we'd have a blast doing that. So we had some good times at GHS, and then I just I signed with Marion Military, went up there for a year, got re-recruited, and ended up deciding to walk on in Florida, and got an opportunity to punt for 2 years in '88 and '89, and just fulfill that dream. Growing up in Gainesville, running out on Florida Field and playing there. But I'm gonna tell you right now, you talk to a lot of former players. High school is where it was fun at. High school is, you're down in the ditches, and you're just fighting, and it's all a bunch of running, and and just you're going to hang out with your classmates at the end, and back then I don't know if they still have those sock dances or whatever they have, gym dances, but it was fun, and back then Gainesville was so much smaller that it was we played at Florida Field too, and we get 10,000 people for GHS Buchholz, and it looked like nobody at Florida Field.
Wow. Okay, we may have an update here.
If you are currently outside the stadium or in the stadium unprotected, we ask that you please go to your cars, as there is a lightning cell that is potentially coming this way in the next few minutes. So for your protection, please find cover.
So
it could be
they're encouraging the people in the parking lot, and there's some support staff, cheerleaders, some assistant coaches inside the facility.
If there happens to be an emergency tonight, we are required to evacuate the area. So please locate the closest stadium.
Okay, so we know we're at least 30 minutes out minimum. Gil mentioned the lightning cell is in the area, which if we get another lightning strike, then you got another 30-minute delay.
Resets your clock.
Yeah, right. So
between Eastside and PK Young, and the game between Newberry and Santa Fe
Okay, so other schools, other games are, as we mentioned, are in a weather delay right now. Not raining currently here at Citizens Field, but because of lightning in the area, that's why we are delayed. And, well, we just saw another lightning strike, so surprised all the birds flying around here. Don't they know the lightning's on the way?
There you
That's
go.
right.
Well, and just talk about that procedure, Mike. So, the referees, the head coaches, and the school administrator, they're all in contact with the person who's making those calls right now is the head trainer, and or if they're here, usually there is a team doctor on site for football. They have a special app that they use that's certified through the University of Florida, and they're looking for a 10-mile cone for lightning. So anytime they get a strike within that 10 miles, it resets the 30 minutes. So they're keying off the trainers. I see. It seems like I've been saying that a lot, keying off. But they're listening to the trainers for the official word to go.
I tell you what, why don't we do this? Since we know we've got at least 30 minutes. Typically, we have a 30-minute pregame show. I think we've done a pretty good job of filling the time up to this point. But Living Large Larry is back at the radio station. He said, why don't we play some music? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to send it back to 106.9 I Am Country, and we will rejoin you probably in about 10, 15 minutes or so, and we'll get back into tonight's game, which is Vanguard and Gainesville. Haven't really had a chance to talk about that yet because we knew that we were in a long, pretty lengthy delay. We do know that the other game tonight, St. Joseph Academy at Oak Hall football, still in a lightning delay, and they are going to make a decision at 7:45 whether or not to play that game tonight. That was our audio-only broadcast at Main Street Daily News. So we'll find out if they may not play over there.
And just looking at the radar here in the press box, it does look like the west side of the county, it is more centered over there. So hopefully it's moving away from us and moving through here. But they are getting it worse on the west side of the county.
And I said it wasn't raining, but it does look like there's a little bit of a drizzle right now. But lightning is the biggest thing. They could play in this current weather. All right, so we'll send it back to the station with Living Large Larry, get you back to some of that great music, and we'll rejoin you from Citizens Field in just a bit.
106.
Well, Mother Nature has won tonight. Unfortunately, our game has been postponed due to weather. If there is an attempt for these two teams to play at some point this year, they will try and play. But tonight, there will be no football between Gainesville and Ocala Vanguard. Mike Rideout, Hank Roan, Philip Crutchfield. Guys, Hank, we'll start with you. Looks like we'll have to put on hold the opportunity to work together. But hey, I thought we did a pretty good job filling in for 30, 40 minutes, whatever it was. Yeah, you have to think some more stories up for me.
I know. We'll have a few more. Am I on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have a few more. There's a lot of good GHS, a lot of good. Ricky Knight, was a great player here. He passed away a few years ago. Mike Muschamp, the Muschamp brother, one of the brothers played here, and so there's a lot of good stories. And GHS has always been a great program, and I'd love to talk about like back in the day when Eddie Feely tries to get you to go play at Buchholz and you bled purple and you said no, because nowadays it's like we put on Twitter that we're transferring and thank you for all the good times I had at such and such a school, and I wasn't going to put on another uniform but the Purple Hurricane. That's all there was to it.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll have a chance to work together again, and like I said, we'll get that volleyball team of yours on at our show at Sonic Drive-In.
That sounds great. Great. Look forward to it.
All right,
we'll definitely do another. We'll do one.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend, and of course, Philip. Well, 1 for 2, I guess, because last night we were here and they did play, but the rain stopped and we kicked off at 8:17. Who knows if they would even be able to kick off by 9:30 if they tried to play tonight.
Right, and it's just you're running into a time pressure. It's too late at night, high school kids. Then on top of that, the field's already in a position to where it's reaching the point of not being safe. They determine the rain's going to last long enough to where they feel like it's not going to be safe and cross that line. And then you factor the lightning in the area causing the delays, which is an immediate safety issue. So it's I feel as a former AD, I feel for all the people out here working the concession stand and the officials and everybody travels that makes the game happen, that has to do all the setup work. I feel for them on nights like tonight. But we've got to do what's best for safety.
And we got an update from Cameron Parker. It looks like they are not going to play tonight at Oak Hall as the clock operator, the announcer, and other people have left. R.J. Fuhrer, the head coach, was still holding out hopes that they could play tonight, but it looks like that was our MainStreetDailyNews.com game of the week as part of the Stevenson Septic Tank Services High School Football Game of the Week, as we do here on radio every week. So it looks like we'll have to wait until next week. So let's kind of set the scene, set the table for next week. Don't forget our weekly high school show, the Prep Zone Sports Show, 7 to 8 p.m. Wednesday night from Sonic Drive-In of Gainesville. Our guest will be either Joshua Wilson of FloridaHSFootball.com or perhaps even Bell Volleyball. Bell had a nice win against Dixie County. Dixie County was in the final state semifinals last year. We'll try to talk, yes, we broadcast football, but we like to promote those other sports, volleyball, golf, cross country, etc., that don't get as much coverage. So we'll be adding those during the fall. And then our next broadcast of high school football next Friday night, well, we'll see if we can get lucky here at Citizens Field next week, as we are kind of switching up our schedule, if you will. Our game on radio next week will be Buchholz at home against Sarasota Riverview, and our plan is also to broadcast a good one over in the Tri-County area between Dixie County and Trenton. That would be the MainStreetDailyNews.com game of the week. So check out our schedule. You can find it on the radio 106.9 I Am Country website, which is IamCountryRadio.com. We've got our schedule posted there, radio and internet each week. But tonight, no football. We hope everyone has a safe evening, an enjoyable weekend. Be safe, everybody. But again, tonight's game between Gainesville and Ocala Vanguard has been postponed. They'll try to make it up some point later in the season if the two parties can come together on a time to play. Guys, we'll try it again. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Sounds great.
Oh, I think I turned Hank down.
Always happy to be here with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for our coverage tonight. We'll see you next well, actually Wednesday for the high school show, and then Friday for our high school football game of the week. Now speaking for our producer, Living Large Larry, for my broadcast partners tonight, Philip Crutchfield, also Hank Roan. I'm Mike Rideout. Good night, and God bless.